everybody, this is a light language transmission. It's quite a larger spread today than normal, and it's also going to be bringing in some light codes from some creations that I've done over this time period related to the current energies. This is essentially a twin flame transmission, but it can be applied to divine feminine and divine masculine within us and within soul connections and sacred unions. So this card here are the energies that are coming in at the moment. Just want to show you that this is a reflection. It feels to me like it's very watery for a start. I'm really feeling the watery energies, and it's a woman in this case, but it's the divine feminine in all of us, looking upwards, looking at her higher self, who she is, bringing in the wisdom from her higher self, from her greater mission, what she's really here for, and allowing that to guide her, really deepening into that, reaching for it, seeing it and reflecting it down on the ground. There is so much astrology at the moment that supports this process right now. I'll link a couple of videos down below, which very much I find reflect what I've become conscious of through my own experiences and the energies that have been coming in through my experiences, what I felt on the energetics, through dreams, through messages from movies and things like that. Some of that's addressed here too. But yeah, the links that I'll put in the description box for Molly McCord's two transmissions, where she really feels energy, and I often feel the codes coming in through her too. What she says always seems to align with what I am experiencing and receiving directly myself. So this card here is very much reminds me of this abstract that I just did yesterday. It in direct vision rather than through the video and in the correct light, this is very shimmery, which adds to the etheric feeling of it, but it's the same colors. And to me, this is about the ascension. It's about being pulled higher, and it's lovingly, naturally drifting higher, guided by the higher activated heart. So this heart here, it's gold and pink, which is unconditional love and golden Christed consciousness, heart activation. And this looks to me like a person. Looks quite feminine, but I can also see the masculine in it. And the head is looking behind. So the head is slightly lower vibration. If we see this as ascending through the vibrations, ascending through the dimensions, going higher. The head is turned back to see if the loved one is coming. This is so common in the twin flame dynamics, is that the one that's leading, usually the one embodying the divine feminine energy, will be looking back. Are you coming? I don't want to go higher without you. But this is then holding the leader back, which if the leader's held back, it's also holding the other one back as well, because you're not moving through your lessons as quick, or moving higher as quick and paving the way. This reading, having a quick look at the cards, is mostly around self-love and focusing on self, and then reviewing how that reflects back into relationships, including the twin flame dynamic. What I'd also like to point out here is that this part of the picture to me. This looks like an eye, an eyebrow, and his hair. My last transmission was a figurine of a divine masculine, Christed consciousness, heart activation, and he's actually had some more energy come into him as well. And his heart energy has dropped down to his sacral. I'll show you in a minute. So that this huge divine ascended heart, like this one, has dropped down into the energy of that, has cleared all the way down to the sacral and activated the sacral. The sacral chakra is where we connect to our loved ones and to other people and to our creative projects. So that pure ascended heart energy is coming through into our relationships. And again, this is reflected very much in this reading. So yeah, I can see his eye, his brow. He's looking back down. See, the movement is upwards from here. So he's looking down at those that are still coming up. He's holding the space. That heart energy is holding the space. And I don't know if you can see here, in certain angles and certain lights, there's the thumb, there are the fingers, and there's an arm coming up here, like an elbow, reaching down, showing the way. Come on, come up, encouraging, inspiring the collective, the souls to ascend, to come up lovingly, gently, like a beacon of light, rather than like a Pluto or a Saturn or a Uranus that are like harsh. It's like gently, lovingly inspiring those to calling them higher, calling them to love, to ascension, to Christed consciousness, to their own higher self. And I can see this is also his beard, like this darker stuff here, and it looks very beardy. I will show you the figurine and where it's got to. So the wings are now created. He's pretty much done. But as I was just sealing and protecting him, this bit of clay came out of the pack of clay in a heart shape, but it was feathery. It was very much like his feathers, had the same feathery feeling, which also looks very similar to the featheriness in this painting. So yeah, it's the movement upwards and that heart energy activating that sacral chakra to relate that in the world from that golden activated heart. So bearing in mind that those energies are what are coming in, is that we're really connecting to the higher self now, really deepening in, reviewing. Venus is direct and moving retrograde tomorrow on the 22nd. To me, the 22nd is a very important date, a very significant date. It is my twin flame unity date. So it's, for me, it's the anniversary of a sacred marriage, not a physical marriage, but a sacred one. And so to me, it's very significant and powerful. It's also Mary Magdalene Day, I believe. She is a twin flame with Yeshua. What I'm feeling very strongly through this reading is the divine feminine really clearing any lifetimes or any experiences in this lifetime where their power was suppressed. where they've given themselves up for relationships or for situations, to fit into situations, to keep the harmony in situations. And therefore suppressed themselves, suppressed their power, suppressed their energies, their manifestation powers to affect change, to raise those relationship templates up to higher love, up to divine union. So as we come down here, the main focus, the main way, I always see this as a channel coming right down the midline, and the cards around it are more information, but these are the core cards down the center, like running down the center of your spine, like the energy coming in through the crown and down through the levels of your being. So the next level, these are still higher levels, these are spiritual levels. And so we've broken this into 3 categories of ways that this higher guidance and higher power are coming in to inform all of us, particularly in our divine feminine aspects, but all of us, how to honor ourselves better. So only when we really step into our own power, our own self-worth, and know ourselves, can we really affect the world and affect change. So this card says, the card of self-love with the most powerful of intention is here to remind you that when your self-love is full within, you can withstand anything. It calls on you to remember this. I also take that to mean that when you are in your own power and your own self-love, what anyone else is doing, and whether they love you or not, whether there's harmony or not, has less impact on you than if you don't have that self-love. That self-love is the foundation of every success and every joy in your life. So on this side, this is Love and Light. This is from the Twin Flame Journey to the Heart by Ernest Henry. We're born of the light and have a love that transcends time and space. Through our light and love, we've found each other in this lifetime. Our journey to alignment has begun. So it's when you reach a certain agreed point, which is usually more of a development point than a point in time, you align energetically, your frequencies match, and you can physically meet your twin in this life. There's a lot of people that are out there that feel their twin exists but haven't met them. There are others that have met them and their whole life started to change at that point, whether they were with their twin or not. I would really say that's where the journey begins. So I also see these 2 cards together as representing the point that happened just a week ago, which was there was a change in the nodes of the moon. So we moved from North Node in Scorpio, South Node in Taurus, to North Node, other way around, to North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. So that brings us back to, we're striving for that knowing of ourselves and knowing the way for ourselves and knowing how to forge forward with passion for ourselves in our embodiment. And we're learning from how we have connected from others, but the powerful way to connect from others is from really complete, whole, self-loving way of relating to self. And from that place, it changes all your dynamics with anybody else. And so then this one here is about timing. It's basically saying that contained within us is all the memories. It's almost like the Akashic records of our twin and our relationships with our twins, and that the vibration of love is felt as each twin awakens in their own destined time. So yeah, there's a lot of themes here of trusting the process, trusting the timing, but referencing not just at the level of this incarnation and what we've experienced in all of our relationships, our upbringing, what we've learned about what we think relationships should be through our parents or our culture, but also what we've learned through relating with our twins and others as well across time, space and dimension through multiple past lives, but lives on other dimensions as well, and also parallel timelines. We're constantly, whether you're aware of it or not, some people are aware of it, being influenced by little leaks from parallel timelines, and we have opportunities to jump across to those at times as well, when we're really in a space of vibrating at that level. And I find that often they come around in cycles, in spirals. So you might feel it so strongly and you're like, wow, it feels so real, like I could just step into that, or like I am in it, and then it might recede again. And that's going to depend on whether you hold that vibration, and whether you hold that vibration or not is going to depend if you've still got work to do, if you're still clearing or still holding on to something in the old timeline, which could be the timeline of separation, or if it's part of your soul's work to really fully clear everything related to that before you can step across. And again, this comes down to, it's almost like little testing the water as well, like you dip your toes in the water of the higher timeline or the alternate timeline, and as you feel that reality, it then also triggers, because it's a vibrational reality, it then triggers in your reality and your current state of consciousness, your current state of emotion, of ego, mental self-concepts, concepts of your twin. You feel anything that is not that unity and that is not that alternate timeline, that higher timeline, that unified timeline perhaps, and it comes up for healing. So then that triggers the next phase of healing, of working through, and then once that's cleared, and you vibrate higher, you ascend, it then aligns with the higher timeline again, the higher timeline of unity. And you can feel again that energy of that timeline, that higher vibrational energy, the intentions, the telepathy, what it feels like to be in union. And it can then again trigger what needs to come up for clearing to be able to cross over to that timeline. So what I'm saying is, I believe there is again more opportunity to receive those higher vibrations from higher timelines to come in and clear away this stuff that is not unity. So anything that is still karmically attached to or still holding on to from mental or emotional space that is not unity. So carrying on down the middle here, we have tornado. So this is, with these higher light codes coming in, activating your self-love. And I have done some healings of massive heart activations this week. Heart activations that blew open all the other chakras and aligned to self-purpose. And when that happens, when those codes come in, everything that is not that has to go. And that can be like a tornado. It can be pulled away from you. It can be unexpected, it can be sudden, it can be harsh, but it doesn't have to be. Either way, as long as you do it with consciousness, as long as you're aware that this is what the process is and this is what's happening, then you can receive it gently, because it still may be a shock in your system, but you can be aware of the purpose of it, and you can trust that it's for a reason, and you can trust that it's going somewhere. And this tornado, that's tearing away what's no longer relevant if you're attuned to these higher channel, these higher timelines, these ascended version of yourself, is that you're changing this pattern and moving forward. You're riding away from the wreck. You're also riding away from relationships that have not respected you, that have not been true to you. And when I'm saying relationships, I don't mean just romantic relationships. I mean workplaces, or locations, or institutions of any kind, communities that you've connected to, that they've had their day. You've learned what you needed to learn from them, and you're moving on. So on either side of that, we've got this is about codependency. So we're moving away from codependency. There are a lot of cards in this reading that talk about mirroring. So we're mirroring up to our higher self, and we're looking to every higher dimension and lower dimension of our story, and we're reconciling it, and we're coming out with, well, this is who I am and this is what's true for me. So there's a mirroring of the macrocosm to the microcosm, of the heavenly onto the earthly. And then there's also the recognition that with our twin, they are our strongest mirror in this physical plane, because they are us at this higher level. They are us, and they reflect back to us down on the physical plane what we need to see, as if we're looking in the mirror, what we need to work on, what we need to shift. So this one's about karma, and one of a very strong aspect that twin flames are here to clear at this time on this planet is codependency. So codependency, even if there's only crumbs of it, will come up and be amplified so that you can see it. Really feeling that in the heart now, feeling that in the heart and the crown. If your twin is reflecting codependency back to you, this is where I act this way so that you will act that way. It's like a business agreement, but in romantic terms. These are the terms and conditions, these are the rules. It's not unconditional. I need you to act this way so that I feel comfortable in that. Anything like that that's coming up if you are engaging with it, it's showing you that it's also in you. And that's what we're clearing. And on the other side, what we're getting is that union is an energy. It's not this. It's not at all based on relationship rules down in physical reality. It is an energy. It is a unity. It is a oneness. And whether you're in union on the physical planes or not, you are always working as a unity. And that's why listening here, you're not just listening to yourself, you're listening to your twin as well, because you are one at those high levels. So you are always affecting each other. You're always affecting each other's choices, even if you're not in contact. And this can be made conscious in this reality through music and movies. What I've been drawn to watch at the moment that feels very relevant to this is, and especially like right now at this time, and the astrology that's coming through and all the codes that have come in through my creations, is I've been watching Catherine the Great. And she is, you know, her marriage is very much a business, marriage of business. And she's come into a empire that is very strongly violent, very non-heart, very masculine, aggressive, violent, rigid, very superstitious, harsh. And she's come in with a brilliance like this card, like Aquarius, like the star, brilliant, aware, inspiring and strong, with a massive heart and a massive light. And she comes in and she eradicates all that old ancient tradition and brutality and old way of thinking, and inspires. And this feels like the divine feminine coming in and clearing out all those old templates, especially those old rigid mental and physical brutality templates, and ascends the consciousness of the kingdom. So it feels like with Venus, the highlight on Venus at the moment, and then her ascended or higher octave is Neptune, which is masculine actually. I'm not sure if Neptune, I think Neptune actually might be feminine. Yeah, really the day-to-day level feminine Venus activated whilst in stillness and retrograde by the higher octave of Neptune in Pisces, as really channeling in that divine feminine, receiving at the deepest levels, because also activated by Pluto, which makes us go deeper, and reorganizing her whole life. This is feminine in all of us, to be this powerful leader like Catherine the Great, strong, cuts away anything that is not true or right or relevant, but from a higher guidance, not from ego or a defensive self-worth, like I'm better than that. It's more like really genuine, I'm worth more than that, and I won't have it, with love and strength and really strong boundaries. And look at that balance there in that card. Culmination of effort, completion, abundance, fulfillment, release, fruits of your labor, focus on your needs, harvest, moving on. Yes, the time has come. So this is in that reflection, in that stillness, in that clearing of old templates, of places where you've been the good woman, the submissive woman that history expected you to be, that Catherine the Great had to be when she first arrived. This is what was expected of her. Done what you were told by bosses, not been sovereign in your own life, made compromises to make relationships or situations work that weren't in your truth, that were not really win-win situations, which therefore are not good for anybody. Clearing those, cutting those away, standing in your power, being queen of your own life. Empress, she's actually Empress. Catherine the Great is Empress. And Empress is all four queens together. The Queen of the Queens is now coming in. And with that, this is what's being released, what's coming up for release on the ground. So clearly, feeling controlled by people, letting people control you. That control might be within your head. It might be, it really, you let people treat you the way they treat you. You set the foundations for that by the way you treat yourself, even if it's unconsciously. If you ignore your own needs, you're showing people to ignore your needs. So just as an example, so this is where you're saying, you're really reflecting, you're going, hey, I've given up my power there. Hey, I wasn't being true to myself there. I'm gonna dig in, I'm gonna access my power. But it's a genuine power. It's not a power play, it's not a strategy. It's coming from that true self-love and self-respect that then enables you to be genuinely in your power and asserting your boundaries in a way that nobody can deny and nobody can oppose. And so this is again about others projecting onto you. So what they are experiencing, what they're going through is about them. And you will no longer be projected onto if you are in that strength. And if you are projected onto, then it doesn't matter to you because you can see it for what it is. And it doesn't affect you in the same way as it would have if you were in that old version of yourself, still working through these old traumas and these codependencies. Codependencies occur when you're not in your power. You need things from others because you haven't mastered them in yourself, or because this is what you believe relationships are, and you believe you need to compromise. I'm not saying there's no compromise. I'm saying that there's a win-win and a co-creation rather than an agreement to meet certain criteria, whether it feels right to you or not, to fit into the status quo of what that particular relationship agreement is unconsciously. I hope that makes sense. So the cards that came in around this were to work with was this is what's coming in now, is this Queen of Air. The King of Air popped up as well. So justice. So the star is, really being in your power, following that star. Just want to show you in here one of the counterparts here. This one coming in. There's the head and the body is reaching for a star, and that star is carrying them up. And there's the face looking back. Are you coming? So I think this is related to this, because there's the Queen standing in her power, reaching for her star, knowing who she is, having clear boundaries, and then that brings in the masculine, both within ourselves, and as our outer world is a reflection of our inner world, it also in our outer world. First in our inner world, and then immediately that vibration of unity and strength and masculine sovereignty appears in our outer world as well, because we vibe it in as such, we align it to we become that frequency. So the ruling planet is Venus, which is interesting, because this is the work that we're doing at the moment, is Venus, which is the lower octave of the feminine aspect. So both of these say within 2 to 4 weeks, or 1 to 2 weeks and 2 to 4 weeks. And it's justice. So it's this balance that I'm seeing here on this side in the feminine, which is a reaping of rewards. And yes, the time has come, and Libra is balance. So justice, accommodating. I see that as receptive, like desires harmony and balance, sociable. So it's a really harmonized, understanding, receptive king, who's consciously aware, coming into the masculine there. And the South Node at the moment is in Libra, which is, really reflecting on what we've given up in relationships, what we've got from relationships, how we do relationships, what the rules are, how we create that harmony and balance. So that harmony and balance comes from, in relationships and in self, comes from this self-love, standing in our self-love, our self-respect, through really reviewing, not just at the mundane level, but also throughout all of our soul history, our ancestral history, everything that's affecting us, what is stopping us from being in our own self-love, that then can spill over into our relationships with others. So that's what comes in when we do that. And the other thing that comes in with that is oneness. So this is the action card that we were going to focus on. So it says, each twin holds the beauty and light of each other. This card reminds you that you and your twin are in union energetically, even though you may be apart or in transition. So this is what we are going to focus on. So we've got that listening to higher self, knowing that higher self includes twin. So it's showing me this card, which is essentially the same. Union is an energy, we are together, and I feel it. But I'm seeing particularly this offering of the light. And the light to me is the conscious awareness of this. Seeing these eyes in this masculine. Like I see it. I know who we are to each other. I know who I am. I know who you are. Again, I'm seeing masculine. I'm seeing the one over here that's working on codependency, what he's learned about what relationships are, what he's learned about who the feminine is, what women are to him, how they fit into his life, how they fit into his heart, whether to trust them or not, what the rules of relating are. We're here to clear those old level templates like Catherine the Great did. We're here to transform, to raise them higher like this, to call them through that activated, ascended heart, that hand reaching, offering, not reaching down, not looking back in a way, are you coming from an ego, but extending a hand, saying, come with me. Yeah. So we're coming back to the self-love. Akatati takati takatati takatata kokokotokoko. Akatati takati takatakakati takakakoko. Akatatati takatakatokokokokokokokokokokokoko. All right, that crown is activating. Huge golden energy coming in through the crown. Akatatati takatakatokokokokokokokokoko. It's activating the lower back, which is your self-support. Akatatatata, that includes financial self-support, being able to support yourself at a survival level, not needing to rely on anybody else for anything like that, which is what a lot of these old codependencies were about. Catherine the Great, these were very much business relationships. The feminine particularly had to rely on men because they were in a position where they were not allowed to learn, they were not allowed to have knowledge, they were not allowed to work for themselves. What I'm saying in this now is all of the lights, all of the light workers, all activating now their self-love and raising those templates. Yeah, just feeling all those energies drop. My head feels really tingly as all those energies drop into the temporal lobes, drop into the acoustic areas where we hear what's going on in our world, what's going on around us, where we hear information that's expressed to us. So we're hearing that information. It's being filtered in a new way. It's been filtered in an ascended way. So we hear what we need to hear. We hear what we need to hear from the movies and the music, and from the things that people say around us, rather than it being filtered out at a lower level of consciousness or a lower vibration, where it reinforces what we know from the programmed level. So we're being reprogrammed around what information we receive and take in. So I'm seeing this one now with the neuronal pathways highlighted. So reprogramming of the neuronal pathways, reprogramming of the heart. In fact, that's something Molly McCord as well speaks about at the moment, is the algorithm of the heart being reprogrammed. And I see the burning off Even though that's a tornado, I'm seeing this as a burning, like a flame, like that flame of self-love, that reprogramming, burning off anything that is not that. Right, there's a clearing out the back of the heart, so that burning off is burning off heart traumas and lower vibrational experiences of the heart in the past. A real activation through the throat, the diaphragm, the crown, the lower back, the base chakra. Hearing romance, so there's a different programming around romance. And there's a balance there, so I'm seeing this balance again. Completion, harvest. Yeah, really feeling that balance now of that Libra, the scales, the oneness. So this forms a scale itself really, with the oneness as the central pillar, and culmination of effort on one side, and being diplomatic, kind, harmony and balance, artistic on the other. It's there's so much oneness and kindness in both of those balance cards there. One the feminine, one the masculine. Yeah, really feeling that oneness coming through the crown, through the base chakra, down into the feet. The feet chakras, the earth grids, pouring in through that crown. Isha tata tati takaka. I'm feeling it just trying to push through those, the sternum. And the sternum feels like a heart shield, a shield over your heart, like a physical shield over your heart, protecting your heart. All those times you were not safe, you had to compromise, you had to be small. Yeah, there we go. Now strengthening the tailbone and moving down that central pillar into the earth grids. There's a relaxing of that shield on the sternum. It's a taking down, it's a softening, becoming fleshy, letting people in. Because you have clear boundaries, and those boundaries are formed by self-love, and that makes you safe. Because that self-love is impermeable. It does not matter what others think or say or do when that self-love is installed in your heart and your being, and you're in oneness. It becomes less personal. Those swords of other people's thoughts or words or actions just can't cut. They can't impact self-love. So I'm clearing through the back of the solar plexus chakra, and I'm seeing the base chakra really activated. Like safety, stability, power. You can't bring that power through into the earth if you don't want to be here. there we go. I can feel that shifting some neuronal pathways. It's clearing through the brainstem, vestibular system, cerebrospinal fluid, ventricular system, and then the pineal gland just activated and sent a beam of light up through the crown. Diaphragm is releasing its tension. Autonomic nervous system is reprogramming out of fight or flight. You might feel a shift in your neck as that happens, as those golden light comes through the crown, your pineal, down through the spine, cerebrospinal fluid, through the base chakra, through the feet chakras. Okay, feel it moving through the cells of the body and into the energy field. Still clearing that solar plexus. The back of the neck, where the neck meets the skull, the atlas, the axis. Feeling an alignment between the masculine and feminine through the brainstem and the base of the skull. Like I'm merging the twin flames at that level. A strengthening of that unified midline, the unified purpose, the unified mission, which is filtering all the way down through the central column, down into the earth grids. The joint mission, the co-creation rather than the codependency, that higher level of relating, of oneness, the third energy. It's clearing the throat. Strengthening the lower back. It's calling. I can see the neurons lighting up on one twin like this, on this one, and calling the other one. It's released through the jaw and the teeth. The brain's really activating the whole brain. You can feel the whole brain being reprogrammed. To the higher self, where the higher self is one. So there's a relaxation coming through the cells, removing the resistances in the physiology, the learnt resistances through generations, through programming, through cultural expectations. Okay, the heart is now breathing that light through it, that golden light. You can feel it through the seal point at the back of the neck. Also breathing that same golden light through, as is the pineal gland. Jaws are releasing more, filled with a liquid light, liquid golden light. Spine strengthening all the way down. Feeling that golden energy breathing in and out with every breath, but it's the whole being breathing it, not the lungs. Not just the lungs, but it is in time with the breath. There we go. The feet chakras are sharing these codes with the grids of the earth. It's so peaceful. Yeah. And so I just felt like some, I think it's diamond white light come through, and it felt like sealing the change somehow. Yeah, that's it everybody. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Do let me know how you received that. I do love to hear. And be aware that is a really big activation, and you can expect those things that are not oneness and unity and higher truth to come up into your consciousness for clearing. Just recognize them for what they are. Be grateful for what you've learned through them. Release that which is not unity, which is separation, which is not unconditional, and move forward. Move forward into the brand new ascended version of yourself and your unity. Blessings, everybody.